Hey peeps, it's Tripl-L, and today I'm here to bring you the One Piece chapter 837, my thoughts and impressions in top moment style because it helps organize the video. Anyway, today's chapter title, Luffy vs. Commander Cracker, and the overall thoughts I can say about this chapter from the very beginning, it was very combat heavy, but actually we ended up getting quite a bit, and I actually really like this chapter, specifically because there was a kind of structure to this chapter, and I was actually kind of, I was pleasantly surprised on my second read through to actually see that there was a structure that was kind of guiding the whole chapter. And once we start talking about it, you guys will know. So anyway, we'll just go through the top moments. If there's anything important or any moment that requires me talking about, that's what I'll do. So let's just get right into it because it was a very good chapter. I very much enjoyed it. So the first moment I very much enjoyed was the Red Hair Pirates and Yasopp on the cover page. I did not think we were going to get the Red Hair Pirates, so seeing them and seeing Yasopp laughing his butt off, most likely at Usopp, it was a nice moment. It was a nice way to start off the chapter. The next moment I very much enjoyed, because of how important it is Nami asking for a retreat. That first page with Nami asking for that at the very beginning is very important because it does set up the sub-theme for this whole chapter, and it kind of carries through with Nami. And from here, like, the chapter is pretty much divided into three parts. The first half of the fight, the Nami interlude, and then the third half. The third bit, which is the second half of the fight. So anyway, the next moment I very much enjoyed was Luffy using Elephant Gun and it not working. Now that page was constructed very nicely. The positioning of the characters on the top panel and the bottom panel were perfectly parallels of each other. So I very much enjoyed that. That was a very nice panel construction. The next moment I very much enjoyed was Luffy on the defense. That was pretty much the double page where it was showing Luffy was running around trying to avoid Cracker's attacks. It was very dynamic. And did you notice that Luffy maintained his arm up till the fourth assault? So that was a really nice little detail. Luffy still had Elephant Gun going until he fully started parrying. And one thing I do want to point out in that double page is that it was also constructed very nicely. Cracker had a pretty prominent presence across all the main panels, which is good because it does show that he is kind of this giant wall that we have to get over. He's applying a lot of pressure. Like, it's not giving Luffy any time to think, and by having him present and taking up so much of the panel space really just makes him seem that he is that much of an offensive pressure. The next moment I very much enjoyed was Luffy pushed back and gone off through multiple trees off to somewhere in the distance. And this was good because this was the segue into Nami's segment of the chapter. So anyway, we go back to Nami. Nami at this point is recalling Chopper's words. Very important, it's still continuing with the theme that Nami is generally thinking about how much they've underestimated the Yonko and how much they kind of need to like regroup. So again, that maintaining that theme is very good. The next moment I very much enjoyed was Brulees Exposition segment, which gave us very good info on the activity of the other supernova. One in particular, Urouge. So we find out something very important. We find out that Urouge was capable of taking down one of the commanders, that one of the people of the worst generation was able to make some kind of effect to Big Mom's army. Now, people might usually discount Urouge because he might not be one of the strongest of the supernova, but I think at least when it comes to this victory, most likely Urouge was very badly beaten at the end of that fight. That he is capable of taking on a commander is a feat that is worthy of praise. Now, one thing though, Urouge has ultimately bested the Big Mom pirates because they simply do not know that he is alive on a sky island somewhere. And most likely, when he was on that sky island recuperating, it might have been from this fight. Now, with Urouge, I think his Devil Fruit, I'm not sure it's been stated, but I think people have been speculating that his Devil Fruit is one that converts damage into power. If that is the case, it makes sense how him getting super damaged might have given him some kind of offensive advantage. Regardless, finding out about Urouge's activities was pretty good. I very much enjoyed that. Now, another thing I enjoyed a lot was Brulees Exposition, in that it went really well with Nami's conundrum in this chapter. She is pretty much talking down Nami, she's talking down the whole generation, and she's just overall empowering the fact that Big Mom is so much superior than the pirates. So again, it's keeping up with the sub-theme. The next moment I very much enjoyed was Brulee's creeper tactics. You know the one where she threw down the mirror and then she appeared from the mirror. Very creative. but still very creepy. Now, the next moment I very much enjoyed was Nami getting help from Pound. Now, actually, this moment doesn't really speak that well for Nami, but because of the situation, because it's already been established that Nami is on the defensive, it kind of puts her in a position where where the story has to prove why she should be so scared, right? But overall, in terms of a moment, I do very much enjoy it because you could take it in another way, right? Nami is capable of using her environment to her advantage, and that includes using allies if you can use allies. Like, that's something that's been very prevalent in the New World. We saw it with Doflamingo and Luffy. Luffy used every ally at his disposal to be able to win against Doflamingo. And I'm mostly speaking about all the people that went to fight the people who got in between him and Doflamingo, and also all the citizens of that country who tried to buy Luffy time while he was running away from Doflamingo so he could recover to go back into Gear 4th. Allies are very important, and they're a very they're a very valid part of any type of battle. But anyway, Nami getting help from Pound though. Even if Pound wasn't there, I want to say that Nami, even if she was tripped up by Brulee, would have still been able to get away. But the utilization of Pound in this particular instance, I think, is serving for a larger purpose. The next moment I very much enjoyed was Nami's strike with her Thunderbolt Tempo. That was pretty good. At least Nami can defend herself. That's something that we can be, I guess, pretty much confident in. Nami can defend herself. And then my next favorite moment was Brulee escapes into Mirror World, and we find out that she can pretty much appear from anywhere there are mirrors. So the interesting thing is going to be whether or not Chopper and Carrot can interfere with Brulee in the Mirror World. Because if they can, that'd be super cool. I'd very much welcome something like that. So if there is some kind of interference, and that way Chopper and Carrot get to do something. So if we get to see that, I will be a happy camper. The next moment I very much enjoyed was Nami's use of Big Mom's card. And this is really important because it marks a shift. And as a side thing, we noticed that the little bunny man, he can't do anything to Nami because he's probably also under the rules of the homies. Anyway, Nami pointing out the Big Mom card does mark a shift in the chapter because this is where the chapter starts to go to positive, because Nami's realizing that she has some kind of advantage. It was a kind of abrupt thing, but for the purposes of the theme that was going on through the chapter, I thought it was fine. And with that, it marked where we went back to the battle. And since it's on the upswing now, because of Nami's positive comments in the chapter, we get to where Luffy's at the exit, or he got shot towards the exit. That in itself is a blessing. So it's already showing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's already showing the up to the whole situation. And then we get Luffy's remarking on Biscuit's armament, in that it is the hardest thing he's ever come across, which is good. It's very good that Biscuit gets this kind of feature because it does show, hey, he's a danger, guys. Like, this guy is a commander of the Big Mom people. Yeah, he's a threat. He's a threat. Like, this is good. This is good. So then we have Biscuit's spiel on royalty. Now, this spiel is just pretty much hot air, you know, him just doing that, but it does characterize Biscuit a little bit more, and it does kind of show that he prioritizes royalty. He really reveres the idea of royalty. Like, he has some kind of royalty complex for sure. But then, because Luffy in particular does not have a good history with royalty and just those kind of statements that he's putting in Sanji's mouth, we do have that final moment of Luffy using Gear 4th and Kong gunning Biscuit right in his, well, it looked like it's the heart, right in the heart, and pushing him away. Now, this is going to be the last moment I pretty much talk on, because it's pretty important, because it showed that Luffy had to go Gear 4th to be able to overcome the wall that was the armament hockey of Biscuit. Is this a bad thing? Well, it doesn't speak well for Luffy, but it speaks very well for the Yonko commanders. Like, these guys aren't unbeatable. We've seen that other people can beat them, and they are people at the end of the day. But Luffy is still kind of learning, and having it to a point where Luffy's struggling, this is way better than the Doflamingo showing, because the Doflamingo family members, you might argue that they were weak, because Luffy could just pretty much steamroll the majority of them. But seeing that Biscuit is already forcing Luffy to go into Gear 4th is a very good thing. And whether or not he's actually down for the count, I don't know. It could be a thing where he has a really, really high defense, but his HP is just so ridiculously low. That's why he needs a high defense. So he might be out for the count. If that's the case, that'd be very interesting. And I do want to think it will be the case, because Luffy's already right next to the exit. So from a structure-wise kind of point of view, I do think Luffy's probably done with this fight. But even if he's not, he still has a few minutes on Gear 4th, and then Nami's in the vicinity, so she's definitely going to have to help him out once Gear 4th patters out for those 15 minutes or so. Anyway guys, overall, I think the chapter was very nice. I really liked it. The theme of being woefully ill-prepared against the Yonko, I think, is a very important one. And seeing that it got as much attention as it did, and seeing that it was used in the structure of the chapter, that'll make me happy. Pretty much it. Everything was covered in all the moments. Like I said, I really like this chapter, and tell me what you think. Right now, we're at a point where maybe Biscuit's down, and we might be moving away from the forest, which I will very much enjoy. Anyway, that's it from me. Have a good day, peeps. Till next time.